The Bloomington Rotary Club Weekly Celebration of Service. I'm Steve Wicks, and I'm honored to serve as your president this year. Please silence your electronic devices. On this day in history, May 26th, 1927, the Ford Motor Company produced the 15 millionth and final Model T, the world's first mass-produced affordable automobile. So in honor of yesterday's Memorial Day holiday, please, if you are able, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we had no one sign up for today's reflection. Most of the reflection spots in June are still open. Please sign up if you have something interesting to share that you can share in 3 minutes and avoid crossing any political or religious red lines. The link to sign up for the reflection is in the roundabout each week. So in replacement of reflection, we have a short Memorial Day video from 2023 that Tyler's going to show.
On Memorial Day, we take time to honor the men and women of the United States Armed Forces who gave their lives in defense of our nation and its values. On this sacred day, we reaffirm our commitment to those who paid the ultimate price, to never forget those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who selflessly served our country and gave their lives for our freedom, our values, our way of life.
For we must never forget the price that was paid to protect our democracy. We must never forget the lives these flags, flowers, and marble markers represent. A mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a sister, a spouse, a friend, an American.
We honor not only those who served our country selflessly and paid the ultimate price, but also their families. For Gold Star families, the price of freedom is personal. We are grateful for the service of their loved ones and humbled by their sacrifice. May your resilience inspire Americans to never take our freedoms for granted.
Every fallen hero has a story. It is our duty to remember those we have lost. It is our honor to stand with their families. And it is our sacred obligation to remember all that you have given.
Here at Arlington National Cemetery, the final resting place for over 400,000 service members and their family members, every day is Memorial Day. The service of these brave men and women is forever enshrined in these hallowed grounds. This Memorial Day, join us in remembering these service members. May their memory be a constant reminder of selflessness, duty, and the price of freedom.
Thank you, Tyler. Tracy Yovanovitch will introduce our guests today.
Thank you, President Steve. And as I call your name, if you could please stand so we can welcome you. We have Rachi Gupta, guest of Jim Bright. Thank you. Erilyn Wood, granddaughter of Marilyn. And I'm not supposed to introduce him because he's usually here a lot, but I'm going to anyway. My neighbor, Bob Walker from South Bloomington, Rotary, as in Fort Myers. And Tracy Goodman here with Hank Walter. And then last but certainly not least, Ben Baranko here, guest of Jeff Richardson. And if you all are interested in learning more about Rotary, we'd love to tell you more about it. So just ask any of us and we'll be happy to give you more information. Thank you, President Steve.
Thanks, Tracy. Joy, do we have any guests online?
Steve, we are a small group of Rotarians online today, no guests.
Thank you. All right, one birthday to celebrate this week on the 30th, Marcus Debro. And then we have lots of anniversaries. On the 29th, Judy Lucas, 29 years with the club. On the 30th, two individuals, Joy Harder, 20 years, and Wilson Shatandi, 3 years. On the 1st, sitting over there at the reception desk, Judy Schroeder and also Bob Salzberg, both of whom have been with the club for 38 years. Also on the 1st, Marshall Goss, 39 years, Winston Schindel, 44 years, Tim Thrasher, 45 years, and Fred Dunn, 53 years. Let's have. Tyler, if you could put up the PowerPoint. Okay, announcements for today. First, housekeeping item. Continue to have members who forget to sign in. We track sign-ins both for attendance and also to make sure that we're square up. We're on the honor system with IU Dining. So please, if you attend, just initial next to your name. If you're not eating, we have a handful of people each week who don't eat. Make sure you circle your name, circle your number, and that way we'll make sure we don't charge you for a meal. Help wanted. Mention the weekly meeting roles. Besides the reflection, we have other meeting roles that need to be filled for June, so please sign up. Hopefully the link will be on the roundabout. Celebration of service. We'll start with a Rotarian doing great things outside the club. So Lance Eberly, past club president, past district governor, and he has been named to the Boys and Girls Club Hall of Fame. The Boys and Girls Club board member for 23 years, chaired multiple committees, served as treasurer, served as vice president, served as president, still active with the Boys and Girls Club. So it's quite an achievement for Lance. And now another celebration of service. Last Thursday's Wonder Lab Summer Blast Off. Here's some pictures. Here's the early crew: Ellen Stroman, Sally Gaskell, Diana Hoffman, getting ready to greet enthusiastic youngsters. Here's a later crew: Mark Peterson and his wife Patricia, Amy Osajima. Here's Amy, and then on the right is Leslie Kutsinko, Rotarian and also the Wonder Lab coordinator of this project. She did a lot of work arranging all of this. Here we have Leslie and Joy Harder and Peyton Flynn. As the sun came out, they put a tent up over our table, which was really nice. And here are the people who made this happen. First of all, I think they expected 600 children. They had 800. So it was very well attended. There was a lot of youthful energy. Besides Leslie Kutsinko, Michelle Cohen, our community services co-chair, took the ball and ran with it from the club standpoint. And then members who helped, Lam Barker, Peyton Flynn, Sally Gaskell, Joy Harder, Diana Hoffman, Steve Engel, Dave Meyer, Glenda Murray, Cindy Neidhart, Amy Osajima, Mark Peterson, Ellen Stroman, and Steve Wicks. And then we had a couple of friends of Rotary who helped, my sister Cecilia Knapp and Mark's wife Patricia. So good job, club. Hopefully there will be some children, more children reading this summer. The Volunteers for Meals on Wheels, I checked with Diana this morning and we have that covered for Friday, so we're in good shape there. Okay, Beacon is an organizational member and their Solidarity Sleep Out is coming up June 5th, June 6th. The link to sign up is kind of covered right now, but it's sleepout.something. Both Forrest and Amy are here today if you have questions, but I think they'd like you to sign up if you plan to sleep out. It's at the First United Methodist Church Green Space, so please consider doing that. And then our meeting in 2 weeks. It is one of the weeks when the union is booked with other events. So we're meeting in the Grand Hall of the Neil Marshall Black Culture Center, 11:45 to 1. You should be able to park for free here at the IMU that day, or you can pay for parking at the IU East Garage, which is across from the Delta Gamma House. And then for those of you who get rides, there's a really nice passenger drop-off on the north side of the Neil Marshall building. And we'll have more details in the days ahead. Other save the dates. Club picnic at the Bryan Park Woodlawn Shelter on June 23rd. The Teachers Warehouse Supply Drive on July 11th. And then the Rotary Toast is on November 6th. And we will, right now they are selling tables for the Rotary Toast. So if you're interested in buying a table, see me, or Hannah Hirsch from our club is leading the efforts for selling tables. So Hannah can help you, and she's sitting at the far back table. So Rotary 7 areas of focus. I cover this almost every week. And we're finishing up Youth Service Month. So we did a lot of things this month involving youth. The Wonder Lab Summer Blast Off was youth oriented, and certainly our scholarship awards geared toward high school seniors. And then Happy Dollars. So for the balance of May and June, Happy Dollar proceeds will be donated to the Rotary Foundation, be used to fight polio and undertake service projects around the world, including here in Monroe County. And we do have time for Happy Dollars today. So is anyone happy? I see a few hands up in the air. Oh. We are adjusting our technology.
Okay, I missed celebrating my birthday with the club last week, but it was on Sunday, so here's quite happy about it.
I'd like to celebrate the 5th annual refugee and supporter picnic Sunday at Cascades Park. It was a great time. In spite of a little drizzle, it turned out to be a beautiful late afternoon. And a special shout out to my bride, Cynthia Neidhart, for all her hard work in organizing this, and also the annual winter holiday party that we have for refugees. Thank you.
I think most of you know, we just got back from a almost 5-month world cruise. And I just want to say, here's $10. It's so nice to be back. As crazy as it is here, you just need to go to Mozambique and see an AK-47 on their flag, and it makes you appreciate being here. So, and it's wonderful to see Rotarians again.
I am celebrating the start of the Bloomington Early Music Festival tomorrow. Look at their, today.
Yes, we are celebrating the Bloomington Early Music Festival, and tonight you can hear a quartet from Philadelphia playing a federal fanfare at the Franklins. If you have never attended this festival, it is music. It is not weird people in stuffed shirts, so don't freak out. But you will be amazed at the range of music that was happening at our 250th, and that's what we're celebrating this year. I left some brochures on every table. Ignore the one that says FAR. Everything is at Trinity Episcopal. There are amazing workshops, coffee versus tea. how to make your own quill pen, so many things. Go to the website, show up at concerts, no tickets, just come and have fun and be amazed.
I'm excited because Linda has just produced a number that she's written, and it's already been in New York, and so it's will be coming out somewhere here, I'm sure. And so thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm very happy because my daughter and my adopted daughter are both going to be visiting here next week.
I'm celebrating graduating law school earlier this month.
I'm happy to have celebrated two of my grandsons' major life events. One graduated from IU this year. He now works at the IU Fowl Golf Course, and he got to meet the Savannah Bananas. He was so excited already. And then the other one just got married, and he and his lovely bride live here in Bloomington.
Joy, do we have any happy dollars online?
No happy dollars online, Steve.
Okay. Michael Sherman, as soon as he puts down the microphone, will introduce today's speakers.
Okay, so this introduction is all wrong. Just going to start off that, but it'll be corrected by our speaker. So Canine Twix is one of 3 working dogs at the Bloomington Police Department. He is a 3-year-old yellow Belgian Malinois. Twix is a certified canine member through the American Police Canine Association in tracking article searches, building searches, narcotics detection, apprehension, and obedience. He works the 3rd shift and is part of the Critical Incident Response Team, also called CERT. And by the way, Jordan Hassler, Twix's handler, is all those things too, except he's not a Belgian Malinois. Neither is the dog that we have here, but he is a police officer at the Bloomington Police Department. He's going to explain more. How about a hand for Twix and Cole and Jordan Hassler?
Thank you. Again, my name is Jordan Hassler. I'm a sergeant with the Bloomington Police Department. I've worked there for the last 16 years, and I appreciate you all inviting me today to come talk about one of my favorite things, which is working with dogs. In the last 19 years as an officer, I worked 4 years in Greene County prior to coming up here. Working with dogs has been by far the most rewarding task that I've ever been given. So I'm going to go through some of our training stuff that we do, how to become a canine officer, what we do with the dogs, how they become certified, how our dogs are taught, and then Canine Cole is going to run a demonstration for you. Canine Twix is with me today. However, he's out in my car. He's a Belgian Malinois, and he does do apprehension work. So he's not a dog that I allow anybody to pet or love on. So that's why we brought Cole, because you all can pet and love on him all that you want, and there's no problems. His handler, Detective Moscato, he works downstairs, and he's going to go into some of the stuff that Cole is used for and some of the training techniques that they use. So with that, again, I'm one of 3 dogs at the department. Myself and Sergeant Raybold have both patrol dogs that work on the road. Sergeant Raybold works afternoon shift, and I work 3rd shift. Canine Twix is my 2nd canine partner. I was a handler for Canine Ike before he passed 3 years ago now. And then we picked out Canine Twix. Canine Twix is from Holland. He was flown over to the kennel in Pennsylvania, Shallow Creek Kennels, where we drove over there and did a selection process and picked him out. Part of that process is watching the dog work on some small drills to make sure that they had the potential to be an actual police dog. You can understand or have an idea possibly of what it takes to actually be a police dog. They have to be controlled, they have to have good control work, be very obedient, and have the demeanor to learn and keep driving. With all of our dogs in the training that we go through, Canine Cole is food driven. So everything he does throughout the day, he gets little bits of food. He doesn't get fed 2 cups in the morning and 2 cups in the evening. He works all day getting his food. And that makes his drive go higher and higher because he knows that everything he does, he gets to eat. With Canine Twix and Canine Kimbo, everything that we do is ball driven. Everything for me and my dog is just a game. We're playing. If we are out looking for a person who's fled officers, or if he's searching a vehicle for narcotics, it's simply a game. He knows that he gets to work around in the grass and track this person. At the end of the day, at the end of that track, he gets to play with his ball and play tug for 4 or 5 minutes. And he goes back in the car and it's to the next game. Part of the article searches that we do is if a person steals a purse and takes off running, and the person ends up dropping the purse or a cell phone or any kind of articles at all, say they have a gun and they fired a shot. As we're tracking, the dogs will actually find that article or that shell casing in the grass or the purse. They'll smell it, just lay down, say, "Dad, it's right here." We pick that up. So the smallest thing, even the 22 casing from a spent shell in some of the tallest grass, these dogs will go find that. Some of the questions that we get asked for the training portion of it, our dogs are trained in fresh disturbance for tracking and direct scent. So the fresh disturbance is where someone basically just runs through the grass, runs through the sand, runs through the asphalt. That area has now been disturbed. And the best way for me to describe that is in the springtime, your neighbor that's the first one to mow their grass every year, well, that's the same grass that was there the day before, and you never smelt it. But as soon as he mows it, you guys can all smell that fresh green grass, right? It's the same thing. Every time we step or walk, there's a disturbance in the ground with asphalt or grass or sand. That odor smells different than everything else around it. And our dogs will actually smell that odor to the person we're trying to find. The same if I throw a ball or an article. It smells totally different than everything else around it. With all the dogs, it takes a little bit different time, but as a handler, our handler schools are anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks long. So once we go through the process and we are chosen by the department to be a canine handler, which generally is a person or an officer who's been with the department 5, 6 years, preferably a little bit later, that way they know that this person can be a police officer and take care of a dog. In that 6 to 8 week process, it goes through everything from the initial meet and greets. So the first couple of days you're sitting there and just playing with your dog, just walking around, getting to know your dog. And then it builds all the way up into some of the advanced stuff that we do with our dogs. But along the way, we can make it to the end of week 5. And if that dog does something that isn't satisfactory, or they're just not getting it, that dog now washes out. And we're going to start the process all over again. Because we ask so much of these dogs, and when push comes to shove and I'm catching a bad guy on night shift by myself who has a gun, I want to know for a fact that my dog's going to do everything that I ask them to do. So again, with my dogs, I had Ike for the last portion of his career, and with Twix, I trust him with my life, 100%. I know for a fact that when I push my button on my belt and I'm away from my car, that back door is going to fly open and he's going to come right to me. Technology is something that's come a long ways as well with these dogs. My car, I can log in. I have an app on my phone. I can tell you how hot, cold my car is. I can tell you if there's a fire alarm or CO alarm. I can tell you if my car battery just dies. I mean, it's some of the technology that we have is amazing for these animals. And rightfully so. With the training that goes into these dogs and what these dogs cost, I need to make sure that if I'm out of my car, that dog's taken care of. So whenever you see these police cars just sitting, on the street or at a station or wherever, and it says canine, don't think that, well, they just got left in the car. Because I can monitor my car 24/7 from my phone. And if anything happens to that car, my phone starts making all kinds of crazy noises. In the event that people ask, what if you lose service or you can't respond on your phone? If a heat alarm, I have 3 alarms on my car. If the heat alarm kicks off for the lowest alarm, the windows drop, and on the backside of my car, there's an exhaust fan. It starts pulling that cooler air and circulate through the car to cool it off. If it keeps rising, well, now the alarm's going to start going off. It's going to start flashing and the siren's going to go off. It's going to say, please canine emergency, call 911. The last alarm, that door's going to kick open. That way that dog can get out of that car and they're not trapped inside of it if something bad were to happen. So technology has been something great for us, and it's something that's needed. But again, these dogs, with the training that we work with them, it's never ending. Per our policy, our patrol dogs work at least 16 hours additional training each month. Canine Cole has an additional 8 hours that he has outside of his regular working hours. And that's just something mandatory that we do to make sure our dogs are always doing something. We generally always surpass that. Our dogs are getting almost an additional 20 to 30 hours a month in just individual reps with the dogs, making sure they're sharp, because I can't take an animal like this and just go through the phase once, put them in a car, and expect them to be sharp as a tool when I pull them back out later. And again, it's a tool, and it has to stay sharp, and we make sure that we get those reps in, and it's a game. Everything we do is a game, and it has to stay fun for the dogs. Canine Cole was a donation that we got from the NOT program. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm going to let John get up here and speak for a little bit about Canine Cole and what he does. The patrol dogs are fun, and I love having them. But Canine Cole is a specialty. He's one of our therapy dogs. He finds electronic devices, and I'm going to let him talk about some of that.
Thank you, Sergeant Hasler. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the invitation to come talk to you guys. We do quite a bit of demos. It's typically for young school-age kids, so it's nice to have a crowd that's not like that. So, so Cole came to us from Not Today. It's a program that started in Indianapolis, and they combat child trafficking, child exploitation, those kind of things. And we applied for a donation through them to get Canine Cole. There's 11 electronic detection dogs in the state of Indiana, which is what Cole is. He's a dual purpose dog, so his 2 primary jobs are electronic detection and therapy, emotional support. So that can be both for officers at our department or for victims of crimes. Most notably, his very first deployment, so to speak, as a emotional support dog was for a young child that had lost their parent, and we had to bring her back to our police department, and I was able to bring Cole in, and she was able to find some comfort with Cole, which was, it was just nice to see. You may hear Cole whine. He was probably whining a little bit earlier. He just likes attention and doesn't like it. So Cole is 3 years old. He's an English Labrador Retriever, a black lab. He originally started out as a medical service dog. He failed out of medical service school. They have much stricter guidelines that they have to go by. So a lot of electronic detection dogs and a lot of detection dogs in general do come out of medical service. He still has a lot of great attributes as far as being a detection dog for us. His primary jobs are to find cell phones, thumb drives, flash drives. A lot of my work as a detective, I work for the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So I investigate a lot of child exploitation cases. And when we have a search warrant and we go to somebody's house, we are looking for electronic devices most of the time. Sometimes these suspects will want to hide their devices. And I mean, we've had them hide them in vents. We've had, hidden cameras hidden in teddy bears and stuff like that. So his job is, once we go into a house, we will go in as officers and do a hands-on search, look for everything and seize everything that we can find. And then I'll bring Cole in to run through the house to see if he detects anything that we may not have seen or come across. So I do have some bags that are set up here. Some of these have electronic devices in them, and then some of them do not. This might be a little bit tricky, so we'll see how he does. So basically, any odor, any electronic device that has storage capability has a chemical that's sprayed on the motherboard as a coolant. It's called triphenylpholene oxide. TPPO is what we call it, and that's the chemical that he's trained to detect. So when we're up here, I've got these bags laid out, but we've also got this looks like a receiver up here. We've got the digital display on the wall over here, and then this computer and camera. So all of these items are giving that same odor that he detects. So, and then with airflow, it's kind of dependent on where he's smelling the odors. The odor from electronics is a very, very fine odor. It's heavy and it falls to the ground. So even something like the projector up there, if we were to go over there, he may detect that odor coming from the ground. So he may alert on the ground where that odor is pooling. So we'll run through. I typically always run him on my left side. So I'm going to start down there and kind of run back this direction. The commands I give him is I say, let's go to work. And that tells him that it's time to go to work. He, like Sergeant Hausler was saying, he's food driven. I've got this bag here that has his food in it. This is the only way he ever eats. He never eats out of a bowl. It's always out of my hand doing either training or deployments. So I'll give him the command to go to work. And then I'm going to tell him to seek, which is his command to start sniffing and see what he can find. When he either sits or lays down, that's his alert that he's in that odor. He's smelling that odor somewhere. And then I'll ask him to show me. And hopefully, as he usually does, is he points his nose towards where he's smelling that odor. So again, with airflow and with these devices up here, there's liable to be odor kind of in between here, but then I got my bags out, so hopefully he actually tracks onto my bags and not the other odor. So, all right, come on, buddy. You ready to go to work? Oh, good boy. Good boy. So I'll start out, anytime I'm going to do a training, I'll start out by giving him just a command. I'm just going to do a walkthrough. That way he can smell anything that may be around. Maybe there's a crumb of food, and that way he can do that and not be distracted by things as we go through. So come on, Cole. Let's go to work. Good boy. Seek. Seek. So as we're going, so he smells that, and I say, show me. Yes, good boy. And then as a reward, he'll get his food. Good boy. Good boy. So once, when I'm doing this general walkthrough, once he does hit on an odor, that's generally where I'll start actually working him, since he knows what we're doing. He's like, okay, I smell, I know what we're doing. Yep, we already got that one, buddy. Come on. All right, come on. So just for those that may not be able to see, there was a cell phone inside this bag. Oh boy, okay, let's keep going to work. Come on, let's go to work. Seek. So he skipped over that one. He wasn't sure. He's not super a big fan of the bags. We typically work in rooms where we have, dressers and beds and all that kind of stuff. And I try to make it as real life as possible for mobile demonstration purposes. That's why we use these bags. So I'll bring him back down and start from the beginning. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, let's go to work. Seek. Seek. Do you? Is that blank? Oh, good boy. Good boy. I don't even remember which ones had devices in them or not, but that's why we have him. So that was a cell phone. Good boy. Okay, come on. Seek. Yeah, you already got that one. Yep. Yep, that's a good job. Good job. Come on, keep working. Keep working. I know, buddy. Come on, keep working. Thought I had one more over here.
It's under the.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't see it down there. Come on, buddy. Come on, keep working. Good boy. Keep working. Go. Keep working. Seek. He didn't even look at it. Come here. You got interested in the food over here. That's why I let him do those. Let him do those walkthroughs. Come here. Lab. Seek. Show me. Show me. Yes. So he's detecting the odor there. He was not super keen on getting under the table, but it was also a cell phone in here. So the other bags that he walked past were just blank, empty bags. I think I had, yeah, just little rolls of baggies in here, so there'd be no scent that he's detecting. So hopefully you're able to see that okay, but that's typically what he does. It's pretty remarkable when we do it inside of a house and he finds things. There's been times that he's gotten into odor, and I search all around trying to figure out what it is he's smelling. And then I start looking up, and I realize that, I mean, we had a dog, an ESD dog up in Indy like 2 weeks ago. He was alerting above a toilet seat, but he would not get up towards the wall. They pulled a frame off the wall, and there was a hidden camera inside the wall above the toilet. So he was detecting that. So yeah, these dogs are pretty incredible. That's why we keep them food driven, just because he will always work for food. I've never once seen him reject food or act like he's full. He will eat as long as I give him food.
So these, if you're watching, going back to it, everything's a game. Did you notice how happy that tail was? That little prancing that he does? So that's what we're looking for with anything that we do with the dogs. Anytime we're training, it's got to be fun. That's how we get those repetition. We make sure the dog's training and he's enjoying it. Because once it's no longer fun or a game for them, they'll shut down and it makes the day a lot longer. So these reps like this, we will get short reps, 3 to 4 or 5 minutes in, a couple turns, dog goes up, we go back to doing our thing, come back out, start playing again. So that's part of our conditioning for the dogs. And you heard John tell him his cues. If you're ever out on the street and you hear Jeff and I talking to our dogs, we speak Dutch and German. So reason being, obviously, is if bad guy's running and he's telling the dog to stop, I don't want the dog to stop, right? So everything that we teach dogs, it's Dutch and German commands. So in reality, I don't think the dog would listen to a bad guy anyways when he's chasing him, but we want to make sure that's not something that happens. So, but Twix and Kimbo, same thing. We can put narcotics in the bags and the boxes. We run drills like that. We search around cars, and it's the same thing. It's always a game. And we're constantly looking for that. Is the dog having fun? If the dog's because dogs are like humans, they can have an off day or bad day, or they, have a head cold, and we're looking for that rate of sniff. Is the tail up? Is it wagging? Are they prancing? Are they having fun? And if they're not, we'll do it again later. But that's part of our handler stuff that we do, and our dogs tell us a lot more than what we generally pick up. Because if I'm on a track or I'm trying to catch somebody, my sole purpose as a handler is to watch that dog, because his body movements and his demeanor and his tail wags and his rate of sniff or his head tosses tells me exactly where this person's at. I can take a person in a open field of leaves or even hay, cover a person completely up, and as I get within 30, 40 yards, Twix will give me a proximity alert to where he'll throw that head up and his hair will kind of bristle up. And he's actually starting to scan now, like I'm right here, Dad, I'm right here on top of him. And if I miss that, then I don't know how close I am to this person. And I keep talking about suspects. We'll use our dogs for any missing person. If we have somebody that has dementia or Alzheimer's and they wander off, our dogs are tracking dogs. At the end of the day, they're tracking and apprehension, but that goes back to me as a handler. Like I just told you, a proximity alert, I'm not going to let my dog just run wild, right? I'm going to keep control of him. As we track that person who's done nothing wrong other than maybe wandered off, and if we don't find them, it could be a bad day. Once that dog gives the proximity alert, I'll pull Twix back, and now I send all the guys in. Hey guys, they are right here within 100-yard square of where we're at right now. And some of the stuff that you don't think of as a handler, if you're not experienced with it, is we have to play a lot of the environment. On the street for patrol dogs, the wind, the humidity, the temperature, early morning, as the sun rises, the thermals of the earth as it heats up and the thermals rise, that odor's rising. So I have to learn how to play a lot of the environmentals in with the dog as the dog's working as well. So there's a lot that goes into these dogs. But again, I'll tell you hands down, I've done everything that you almost can do other than the dive team at this agency. And running a dog has been the most rewarding and most beneficial ever. A lot of people ask, what's the downside to having a dog? Well, there is one. I'm always dirty. Before I became a handler, I was a guy that had, the Class A, the buttons, the shiny. I look good every day. I was big into officer presence. I think that if you're going to be an officer, you should look the part, But with a dog, it don't matter. It'll be the wettest, muddiest day, and that dog will be so excited when I let him out of the car to come see me. He's giving me hugs, and now I'm covered in hair and mud and everything else. So in our cars, I'm a stickler on my car. We got to clean our cars up at least once a week. If you have dogs or animals, you take them from home to the park. Time you get back, there's some hair and mud in the back. We'll have a dog back there for 8.5 hours throughout the day. So it's constant, but it's the most rewarding because when everything finally clicks and they figure it out, it's the best feeling in the world. You can ask these dogs to do amazing things. I was telling the guys earlier, like John here, say that as part of the CERT team, our SWAT team, we do a lot of the major incidents here in the city. And I want to make sure that my dog's squared away. And part of that is I can take this red dot and I can put it on John here. As Twix sees that red dot, he knows Dad wants me to catch that red dot. Well, why is that important? Well, if I have 3 or 4 people here, I want to make sure my dog's getting that bad guy or he's going to that area. We'll use this every night too, like on the street for building searches. We get a lot of alarm calls at night and our dogs are locating tools. Well, it's much safer if it's nighttime, we can't see everything, to send my dog in to say, Dad, this is where they are. If I know that he didn't check off on a closet or a cubby space or whatever, I can peek my head in and shine this red dot on that corner. And he now, like a cat, chases that red dot that corner and starts searching that area. So that's just some of the minor stuff that our dogs can do. And again, I don't want to take up too much time. I want to leave you guys some time for some questions if you guys have questions. But I truly appreciate you inviting us here to show off Cole. I'm sorry I didn't bring Twix in, but he's not one that we can pet. So I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Go ahead.
At some point, the dogs have to retire. When is that, and what happens to the dog at that point?
So I did not cover this. I think it's a good question. So it depends on the dog. Ike was clearly going to be, my first dog was clearly going to be a patrol dog his whole life. That's all he wanted to do. That's all he wanted to do is work. And he worked up until he had some medical issues and he passed away with me in my car, which I hated that. But again, that's all that dog loved to do. I'm trying to keep it now to where our dogs work on the road 6 to 7 years. They then retire and they go back to their handler. All of our dogs live with us. They live at home. They have their own kennels. They live in the house. Cole's in the house. The handler, from the day that they are selected and that dog's picked up, they stay solely with the handler. There are a lot of days, like if I go on vacation, John goes on vacation, he'll call and say, hey, can you come take care of my dog? I'll show up as a handler and feed and water and take care of the dogs. But yes, there's no set date yet, but I'm trying to keep it enough where they can work where they're young and then have a few years at home to have time to actually be a dog and just live at home and relax a little bit.
That was my question.
You said that when they retire, they live with their handler, but when dogs learn how to do all that stuff, do they ever forget, or do they just their body just keep recognizing all of this stuff that they've learned so far?
I don't know that they ever forget. I can tell you every bad thing I've tried to get away from Twix, he's never forgot any of those things. No, I will say this, that the dogs are very smart about picking up uniforms and IDing things in the vehicles. He knows when I walk out in uniform, we're going to work. He's bouncing, he's excited, he's ready to go. I walk out in shorts and a t-shirt, I got to go outside and walk for a little bit. I get my food, I'm staying home. And he knows when we're at home, we're at home. We're not working. We're not constantly checking everything. I have 2 little boys at home and a wife. And he knows that when I'm at home, I just get to play with the boys and do dog things. So there's some internal switch there.
How do they interact with other dogs? I know you try to keep them separate, but sometimes when you're out and about, other dogs, you can control your dog, but you can't necessarily control the other.
Correct. So every dog is just like us. We're all different. I'm a very big believer from a little bitty puppy, dogs should be socialized. They should get around other dogs, other people, get exposed to as much as you possibly can. Twix is very, very social. He loves every dog, every cat, whatever he can find. He hates cows. I don't know why we have cows behind my house, but he doesn't like cows. Now Kimbo, our other patrol dog, he's a little more territorial of his car and of Jeff. He barks a lot more, and he has a little bit more different attitude. But on the street, when they're out with us, we control our dogs. We tell them to sit, stay, go wherever, and they'll do their thing. And the biggest thing on the street is everybody else's dog that hasn't been through the training that we go through or isn't on a leash. That can be tiresome at times.
Does Twix wear a bulletproof vest? And if if he's going after someone to apprehend and they have a gun, is he taught to take him down by grabbing the arm that has the gun?
So he does have a bulletproof vest. He does not wear it all the time. There's been studies shown that due to heat retention and heat loss and the weight, they can have heat strokes if they're just kept in that kind of gear. If I have a major call out where I know that there's a possibility that this could happen, I can put it on him. He is trained to apprehend in the limbs and the arms. Part of the training is, that we have somebody with a gun that shoots blanks, and he'll grab either or. He's not trained to tag just one specific arm for the threat. But with that said, all of these dogs are tools. We use them for specific applications. If I know bad guy has a gun, a dog's not the best tool to send into that fight. I'm not going to do that. Now, granted, are there vehicle pursuits where we chase people at night and they run out with guns? I don't know. Yeah, I had one the first this year. But if I know ahead of time going into it that, this is a call out, this is the real deal, this dude's got a gun in here, dog's not the tool for that. So I'm going to protect him and the rest of our dogs as much as I can. So, but again, at the end of the day, if a dog loses their life over a human, then that's, they are here for that, but I'm going to mitigate as much as I possibly can.
Sergeant, thank you, number one, for not bringing Twix. This is from our Shih Tzu, our 10-pound Shih Tzu. I'm wondering, as a little boy, were you a dog person?
Good question. So absolutely. I grew up in law enforcement. My family's comes from a law enforcement background, and I have a large hunting background. And from the time I was probably 9 or 10, I raised labs, and I've had labs my whole life. And seeing that working portion of it, and I kind of got into the trial runs and the testing of the labs. It's just to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's all I knew until I became an actual handler. And going from a lab to a patrol dog with pointy ears, it's night and day. These dogs pick up things so quick, and it's the gratification of, here's a small task I want you to learn and do, going through all the steps, taking the time and the reps, and finally one day it just clicks, and it's amazing. But I've been a dog person my whole life.
So how many calls per year or average calls per year do the dogs tend to perform their duties in active service?
I don't have the totals right now. We're averaging on patrol with Jeff and I, we're probably getting 25 to 35 deployments a month where the dogs are out of the car with us. And again, we're both supervisors, so we have our supervisor task as well as canine task. So I would like to see them twice that many, but our average calls are finding articles or items or sniffing for narcotics. We may have a call out or two every month and a half, 2 months, but most of our deployments are trying to find something on the street.
Do the dogs ever mistake legal substances? Like, I'm not sure if it's Delta 8 or Delta 9, but I think one of them is legal versus illegal marijuana. Do they ever mix up between those two?
For this reason, neither of our patrol dogs are certified or detect marijuana. They do hard substances, meth, cocaine, heroin, and meth, cocaine, heroin. And no, we actually stay away from fentanyl because it's so potent anyways that we don't even mess with it on the street. If we find it, we think it's fentanyl, we totally discard it. Go ahead. I can't say discard it. We send it off to the lab to have them test it. Yeah, we don't throw it away or nothing.
And does that work for prescription drugs as well? I know some drugs have similar chemical makeup similar to
That's a
meth.
good point, and we just discussed this earlier, is some of these dogs that may be trained on fentanyl, well, people can legally have prescription for fentanyl, for scripts or pills or whatever it is. And that becomes, I think, kind of an issue down the road. So to avoid that, we stuck with the hard powders and got away from marijuana, because one day, you know, if they do happen to legalize that, then that dog's now out of service. So
Where is some of the training done in the United States? I'm sure it's different places. And my second question is, my sister had a health service dog. Did I hear you say this dog is health service trained also? And if so, what's the difference in training?
So I had mentioned that Cole, he started out when he was younger as a medical service dog. He was going through the training for that, but he failed out of that school. I don't know for what reason. And then the trainer that trains detection dogs bought him from the company that was training him for medical service. So he's not certified medical or anything like that. He's just strictly detection of electronics and then emotional support.
They trained? Where are they trained?
Cole specifically came out of Indianapolis. It's a company called Jordan Detection. Todd Jordan is the owner of that. If you remember the Jared Fogle, the Subway guy back in 2015, 2015 or 2014, but one of the headline pictures from that was Todd Jordan walking out with an electronics detection dog. And at the time, no one really knew what that was. So they were all wondering why is there a canine coming out of the house? Well, that was kind of the beginning stages of electronic detection.
the training portion of that for the patrol dogs, both of our dogs are trained in the American Police Canine, they're certified through the American Police Canine Association and through NAPWADA, which is the North American Working Dog Police Association. And they're nationally accredited. And they put out these guidelines that if you want to be part of this group, you got to pay your dues and you got to pass this book of certification stuff. And we have local groups and trainers that are certified through those agencies or organizations that we all train with. So at least twice a month, we meet together as a group, whether it be in Bloomington, Martinsville, Knox County, Bedford, or I guess Morgan County as well. And we all train together and we do certain portions or tasks that we work on each month.
Hi, thanks. I was wondering, can a civilian get their hands on one of these working dogs, and maybe privatize some of the services or, use them as a tool like on their own? Or is it something that's very specific to like law enforcement?
So anybody can have a working dog. Something right now that's huge, that's a growing industry for whatever reason, is the bed bug detection. There are dogs now that are trained working dogs that if you have that's the biggest thing is hotels and assisted living. If you think that maybe someone's got bed bugs, they bring these dogs in that are trained on the pseudo odor of bed bugs. And we literally just worked with them 2 weeks ago with training. It's the first dogs I've seen that were certified in this. And they had this little, what was that? It was a little GSP, German short hair pointer. And this little dog come in like a rocket. And he's working around these chairs. As soon as he got that odor, he just sat and put his head right on that seat. I thought this is something else. But yeah, even patrol dogs or electronics. If you got the money, you can do it.
Can both of you like kind of just say what's the most amazing thing you've ever seen your dog do?
I mean, I'm amazed. So it's one thing when I do training, a good portion of the training that we do, I know where devices are. If we're doing where neither him or I know where it's at least know that I am looking for something. It just amazes me every time we go into a suspect's house after we do the search warrant. I have no idea if there's anything in there or not. So we're going through. I don't know if he's just trying to lie to me so he can get fed, But it's absolutely incredible for me when he alerts and we do find a hidden device. It's beyond, it's incredible for me.
So they always say as handlers that we operate the dumb end of the leash because we are the lowest portion of this team right here because these dogs are so smart. 90% of the time when something's missed, it's because we've missed what the dog has told us. And same thing. I mean, just tracking people or people that need to be caught. And the dog told me one thing, but I'm so smart that I know he went this way instead of this way. And of course, the guy's right there around the corner on the left side. And it's just, as a handler, it takes reps and a lot of time to realize that, hey, you know, listen to your dog. Your dog, promise you, your dog knows more than you do. So, yeah, 100%. It absolutely is.
The training that we went through, it's me learning how he works. Yeah, it's not me like teaching him things. He's teaching me. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, thank you. Working tonight?
It was my night off.
Okay.
My night off. So I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for third shift people who come in at noon the following day or, yeah. Wonderful presentation. I think Cole is an example for all of us. When you fail at something in life, there's still something else that you can accomplish. So good job, Cole. John and Jordan, in order of your talk, a donation will be made this quarter to Wheeler Mission. I'd like to thank today's volunteers, Diana Hoffman, Tracy Ivanovich, Michael Shermis, Joy Harder, Ashley Wesley, Alan Barker, Judy Schroeder. Our next meeting will be here in the Georgian Room on June 2nd. Bill Daniels will speak to us about growing native plants from seed. Please join us. So Tyler, if you would share the graphic for the four-way test, and please stand if you are able. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?
Yeah.